So the first topic in Unit 2, what we'll be covering is all about leveling, and then we'll move on to understand what is called as contouring. So the purpose of contouring. So what is meant by leveling? What is the purpose of carrying out leveling? What is the principle behind leveling? What are the different types of instruments that we use for carrying out your leveling? Okay, so all that we'll try to talk about. So leveling is what we define it as an art of determining the relative height of different points which are there on the earth surface, are above the earth surface or below the earth surface. So the word leveling is nothing but it's all about determining the elevation or the height at which that particular respective point is existing from some reference. Okay, so what is that reference from which we determine the heights of all those respective points which are lying on the ground, are above the ground or below the ground, is what we'll try to come across with. Now, what is the principle behind this leveling? Based on what principle we carry out this leveling? Okay, the principle of leveling is nothing but it is to obtain your horizontal line of sight. So from a horizontal line of sight with respect to which the vertical distances of various points. Okay, so if I want to determine, let's say for example, somewhere here at this particular height, and this instrument is set on the ground like this, and I want to know what is the elevation of this particular point. What is the elevation of this particular point, what I am trying to mark on the ground, let's say point A. So this elevation of the point A, what I am trying to refer to, is to be calculated with respect to some reference. Okay, and that reference is what we call it as datum. Datum is nothing but it's a reference plane from which you are trying to determine the elevations of various points. And that datum, as already I have told you earlier, mean sea level. Okay, in India, whenever we are trying to talk about the standard elevation from standard reference from where we are going to determine the elevations of various points, various objects that are there on the ground, above the ground or below the ground. So if I want to determine the elevations of various points, if I want to know where is that particular point, so I need to have a particular reference, and we say the mean sea level position is considered as your 0th elevation position from which you determine the elevations of various points. Okay, so if I want to determine the elevation of this particular point A, so what we try to do is we try to place some a vertical staff, which we call it as level staff. Okay, on that level staff we'll have some readings. Now once I set my leveling instrument, so we are going to have a horizontal line of sight which is going to be bisecting your leveling staff, and you'll have some reading read on your leveling staff. Okay, so the reading which is read on that leveling staff will be helping you if I know what is the reference benchmark of this particular point, and according to that we'll try to determine what is the elevation of your point A, or maybe what is the height of a building, or what is the height of any particular point that you are trying to look at. Okay, so that we are going to be determining based on a principle what is called as the horizontal line of sight, what you are going to be having from your level instrument. Okay, so with respect to this horizontal line of sight, what we are going to be determining is the vertical distances of various points. Okay, so if I want to determine the vertical distance of particular point, so I can place that leveling staff at that particular position where I want to determine my vertical distance. So on that leveling staff, I'm going to have your line of sight coming from your telescope of the instrument, and that line of sight is considered to be horizontal. And once you have that horizontal line of sight with which you are able to take the readings on the leveling staff, with the reading what is measured on the leveling staff, we are going to determine the corresponding vertical distances between 2 points, or the elevation difference between 2 points, or how is that point existing, where is that point existing. If I want to design a proper drainage network, so how do I design a proper drainage network? The drainage network has to be properly designed in a way that your drainage, whatever you have, or your drainage line, what you are trying to construct, should have a proper gradient difference or elevation difference, so that from higher gradient towards your lower gradient, the sludge, whatever you are collecting through the drainage network, can be flowing just by your gravity. You cannot have your drainage pipe constructed like this, where the drainage inlet is here and the outlet is here. Okay, it's not possible to have the flow from this elevation to this elevation because of the effect of gravity. Other side, I can have, if this is my inlet, this is the outlet, yes, because of the effect of gravity, I can have the flow, your sewage flow happening through that particular drainage network, what I am trying to design. Okay. So whatever you want to design, if you want to design a proper road network, okay, so I should know where is my higher elevation, where is my lower elevation. With the proper elevation, I have to have that particular road network planned. If that elevations are not known, if I am randomly going on to construct your pavement, then you will have all problems. Whenever there is a rainfall in some region of that particular location, if your road is getting drowned, so there is no use of that particular pavement what you are constructing there. So you have to plan according to the requirement and the elevations of the ground, whatever you have across that region where you are trying to take up your so-called construction of a roadway, or construction of a railway, or maybe in the construction of your drainage network. So whatever it could be, for doing any of it, you should be knowing the elevations of those various points existing on the ground or above the ground or below the ground, with respect to which you are going to determine at what elevation I have to properly plan my road network, or with what elevation I should design my railway track, or with what elevation I should have my drainage network, so that your issues with regard to the design will not be encountered in the later stage. Okay, here there is a word missing, so it is found. Now, what is the objective of carrying out the leveling? So the objective of carrying out the leveling, so we have got two objectives. One objective is, if I know some particular point, and if I want to determine at what elevation that particular point is there from a reference, I can determine that. And the other one is, if I know the elevation of some particular point, and by setting that elevation, I would locate the position of that particular point. I repeat, I can try to find out the elevation of a particular point existing. And second one is, I can try to establish a point with some required elevation or with some known elevation. So these two are what we are going to be ultimately carrying out in your leveling. So before we exactly talk about how do we carry out your leveling and so on, there are some basic terms that we are going to be coming across throughout this leveling. Okay, so let us first have an idea of all these basic terms that we are going to be commonly using, and then we will exactly move on to talk about how do we determine those levels with the help of different instruments that are available. And once those level readings on the leveling staff are read, then how that data is to be used for determining your different elevations and so on, that we'll try to talk about later. First, let's start with some of those basic fundamental terms which we are essentially required to be knowing before we exactly get into what is leveling and how do we determine the levels of various points and so on. So let's start with the word what is meant by level surface. Level surface is nothing but it's a surface which is said to be parallel to that of your mean spheroidal surface of the earth. Okay, so parallel to the mean spheroidal surface of the earth means, so your level surface or any reference surface that you are trying to talk about, which is considered to be parallel to that of your earth surface, so that surface we are calling it as level surface. For example, your joid, what we have talked about, is nothing but we can consider it as your level surface, or your mean sea level, whatever we are referring to, which we are calling it as a datum. Okay, datum is nothing but a reference surface. So mean sea level is nothing but it's a reference surface. So that mean sea level also I can consider as your level surface. Or at any particular point, I can still go on to define what is called as a surface which is parallel to that of your mean sea level, or which is parallel to that of your Earth's mean average radius position of the Earth's surface. And next is level line. It's nothing but it's a line lying anywhere on that particular level surface. So that line is what we call it as level line. Next, horizontal plane. Horizontal plane is nothing but on that level surface at any point, if I'm trying to draw a tangent, and the plane contained by that particular tangent is what we call it as horizontal plane. I repeat, horizontal plane is nothing but it's a plane what you are going to be defining by drawing a tangent at any point on your level surface. Okay, so that plane is what we call it as your horizontal plane. And on that horizontal plane, if I am going to be representing any line, then that line is what we call it as your horizontal line. Okay, so here in the schematic diagram, we have different lines that you are referring to the earlier discussion. So if you can look at here, this line, what I am just trying to highlight here. Okay, so that is nothing but it is your mean position of your Earth's spheroidal surface. Is sometimes people try to refer it as your in our discussion, what we are considering it as your mean sea level or any other reference datum level from which your elevations of various points is what we are trying to determine. And if you can see here, if I consider this to be the mean sea level, or it could also be otherwise referred as your level surface. Now, if I can see the position of my instrument station, this is your level, and this level is placed on what is called as a tripod. Tripod means it's a setup with 3 legs. Tri refers to 3. So you'll be placing your instrument on top of the surface of that particular tripod, which has got 3 legs on which the balancing of the instrument is done. Now, when you are trying to focus through the telescope, because the leveling instruments, whatever we are going to be looking at, so it's going to contain what is called as a telescope, and through the telescope, when you are going to be focusing, you'll have some particular line of sight. Line of sight means it's the line along which your vision you are going to have. Okay, so if that particular line of sight, whatever we are trying to look at, now how are we going to have that line of sight? I'll just try to talk about line of sight. Otherwise, we also call it as line of collimation. In the next subsequent slides, I'll be even talking about that terms also. Now, through that particular telescope, when I'm trying to focus the object or focus the leveling staff, which is placed at some point for which I want to determine the elevation. So you will have some line of sight coming out to be like this. You'll have some line of sight. Otherwise, I can also represent it as your, you can see here, this is the surface. What I am just trying to highlight now, it's nothing but it is a surface which is called as your level surface. Why I am calling it as a level surface? It's a surface what is coming through the line of sight of that particular instrument, okay, which is obviously considered to be parallel to that of the surface of your mean sea level. Okay, so earlier when we have discussed about what is meant by a level surface, we said that it's a surface which is parallel to that of your reference. Okay, so that's a surface, I can call it as your level surface, and this surface is what I am calling it as the level surface. On this level surface, at any point if you are trying to draw a tangent, I repeat, any point if you are trying to draw a tangent, the plane what is defined with respect to that particular tangent what is drawn is nothing but we call it as your horizontal plane. And on that horizontal plane, if you define a line between any 2 points, then I can call it as your horizontal line. On that level surface, if I am trying to define a line in between any 2 points, I can call it as your level line, and so on. Next, moving on, datum. Datum is nothing but it's an arbitrary level surface from which the elevation of points may be referred. I repeat, so datum is nothing but it's an arbitrary reference surface or a level from which we are trying to determine the elevations of various points existing on the ground or above the ground or below the ground. In case of India, the mean sea level, whatever we are trying to talk about, is considered as datum of 0 elevation, because whenever you want to determine the elevation of any point, first we say, okay, what is my reference from where I have to determine the elevation of that point? Okay, so the reference what we are talking about is the mean sea level, and it's not the mean sea level at any other point throughout the India, but we have a standard particular place where the mean sea level position of that particular standard place is taken as your 0th elevation point, and from that point we are trying to determine the elevations of various points. Okay, so that so-called reference, which we are calling it as the datum, is what we consider in India as your mean sea level as your reference datum, and the position of that mean sea level with respect to the reference datum what we are trying to talk about, which has got 0th elevation, is situated at Karachi. Earlier, when India and Pakistan didn't get divided, the reference was taken from Karachi, but now what we take into reference as your Bombay position with respect to the mean sea level position of the region at Bombay, we take it as your datum surface or your mean sea level surface, which is considered as your 0th elevation position. Next, mean sea level. It's a, what do we mean by mean sea level? Earlier also I have talked about. It's the average tidal height of that particular sea for every hourly data what is collected over a period of 19 years. Okay, over that period of 19 years, for every hour when the tidal position of that particular sea is measured, and if the average of all that particular data is calculated, so that average position is what is considered as your mean sea level, as which we are in turn considering as your reference datum for measuring the elevations of various points. Next word, elevation or reduced level. We also call it as reduced level. Most of the times, technically, when we are talking about in this leveling or contouring, always we try to write it as reduced level, RL, RL, RL. Okay. So elevation or the word reduced level, both are one and same. So what does this word elevation or reduced level means? It's the height or depth of any point above or below any datum. So that height at which that particular point is existing above the ground, or depth at which that particular point is existing, which is below the ground. So that is what we denote it as your elevation, or otherwise called as your reduced level. Okay. So already we have talked about some of those basic fundamental terms. Geoid is nothing but it's the average mean position of your Earth surface. Okay. So with respect to this geoid, I can try to, let's say I have got different points in between which I want to determine the elevation. Okay, so I have some point A on the ground, I have some point B on the ground. I want to understand what is the elevation difference between those points A and B. Now, if I want to define the elevation difference between those 2 points A and B, I can go on to represent what is called as the level surface, or a surface which is said to be parallel to that of your geoid or mean sea level, or any chosen datum. So that surface which is represented through your point B is nothing but I can call it as your level surface. The line which is indicated on this level surface is nothing but a level line. Similarly, at point A, also I can go on to define another level surface. How this level surface at point A has to be? It has to be parallel to your level surface which is passing through your point B, or represented through your point B. And how should be that level surface which is represented through your point B? That should be parallel to your geoid or your mean sea level or your datum surface. Okay. Any line which is drawn as a tangent, I repeat, any line which is drawn as a tangent on that level surface. Let's say at point A, if I am trying to draw a tangent, and the plane containing this particular tangent what is drawn is what I'll call it as your horizontal plane. On that horizontal plane, anywhere I can try to go on to represent a line which you are calling it as your horizontal line. And what is the elevation difference between point A and point B? So I can, in simple terms, I can say the elevation difference between point A and point B is nothing but the difference in elevation between the level surface defined from your point B position to that of the level surface defined between at your point A position. So between these two level surfaces, whatever the distance at which these two level surfaces are apart, that difference is what we call it as your elevation difference between point A and point B. Next is benchmark. Now, what does this benchmark mean? So benchmark is a fixed reference point of known elevation with respect to the datum. So benchmark is nothing but it's a point for which you know what is the elevation, the standard elevation of that particular point from your reference datum is known. So such point is what we call it as your benchmark point. Next, line of collimation. Otherwise, we also call it as line of sight. Okay. So what does this word line of collimation mean? It's the line joining the intersection of crosshairs of diaphragm. Okay. So it's nothing but it's a line joining the intersection of crosshairs of diaphragm to the optical center of your object glass and its continuation. Okay. I'll tell you, I'll physically show you, okay, what is that line of sight mean and so on. Okay. Whenever you are going to be focusing through the telescope, the position through which you are viewing, there you will have what is called as an eyepiece. So through that eyepiece, we are going to be viewing through this particular telescope. At the end of the telescope, you have got what is called as an object glass. So what is the purpose of this object glass at the end of the telescope means? So through this object glass, I am going to be looking at my target. Target in the sense, the position where I am trying to place my leveling staff to determine the elevation. Okay. So it's what is meant by line of collimation. It's the line which is passing through the center of the cross slit hair. In your eyepiece, you'll be having what is called as a cross slit hair like this. Sometimes indicated like this. So that what does this cross slit hair referring to you? Whenever you want to bisect any particular object, so the center of this cross slit hair with reference to which I should be bisecting the position of your object. If I want to take the readings of the on that particular leveling staff, so this center, wherever it is getting bisected on your leveling staff, that reading has to be taken. Okay. So my line of collimation is what I'll now try to define it as the center of the cross slit hairs which are positioned in your eyepiece. So from that center of the cross slit hair, the line which is passing through your object glass, through the center of your object glass, and subsequently getting continued to bisect your object. So that line is what we call it as line of collimation, or otherwise we also call it as line of sight. Next, height of instrument. So height of instrument is nothing but it's the elevation of line of collimation with respect to the datum. So height of instrument, what does the word height of instrument mean? At what height that particular instrument is set up. Now, if I say this is my telescope position of the instrument, we are defining a line of sight which is passing through the center of the eyepiece and center of your objective glass. Okay, so that the height at which this line of collimation is existing from the reference datum or from the reference mean sea level position. So that height is what we call it as your height of instrument. Next, backside. Backside is nothing but it's a staff reading. The reading, whatever we are noting down by looking at your value on the leveling staff. Okay. So when I am going to be focusing at my leveling staff, which is placed on some point for which I want to determine the elevation. Okay. If I want to know what is the elevation of this particular point, so on this particular point, I am going to be placing my leveling staff, and through the instrument, I am going to be focusing at this leveling staff, and whatever the reading that I get from by focusing on my leveling staff, that reading is what we call it as staff reading, leveling staff reading otherwise. Okay. And that leveling staff reading, whatever I am going to be taking right after placing the instrument at some point. Okay. So that first reading, whatever you are taking at some point by placing the leveling staff after setting up the instrument. Okay. So it is the staff reading taken at a known elevation. It is the first reading which is taken up after setting up of your instrument. So once we start talking about how we are taking the reading and so on, we'll be able to understand, okay, which reading is to be called as my backside reading, which is to be called as some other readings. Okay. So mean sea level is what we are referring to. So you'll have some devices like this. If you can see, you have a pole with respect to the position of tidal on that marked pole. So you will be able to understand every hourly data. Every hour you will be seeing, okay, where is the position of your sea level tide, and with respect to all the data, all that particular data, what you are trying to collect every hour in that day, in that month, in that year, likewise for 19 years. So average of all this data is what we consider as the level of your sea, which we are calling it as the mean sea level. Next, the foresight. Now, what does the foresight mean? It's the last reading what is taken on your leveling staff before you are going to be shifting your instrument. Okay. So we'll technically understand what are all those terms. Okay. So foresight, backside, and here the other term, intermediate sight. Backside, foresight, and intermediate sight. These are all nothing but the readings whatever you are going to be taking on your leveling staff when it is placed at different points on the ground. Now, out of all these readings, what you are trying to measure by placing the leveling staff at different points on the ground, out of all these readings, the first reading what you have taken after setting up the instrument by placing the leveling staff at some point on the ground, that reading is what we call it as your backside. And the last reading what you have taken with respect to the instrument which is set up here, before I wanted to shift this instrument from here to some other place. Why is that I am required to shift my instrument from one place to the other place? Means because my focusing may not be very much accurate. Maybe the point where I am trying to place my leveling staff for determining the elevation may not be properly visible from the instrument station where I am standing, or the place where I have set my instrument, or I might have some obstructions. Or maybe, let's say, if I'm trying to construct my drainage path, so my direction to some extent is in this direction, and then later on I am required to go on some other direction. So the points on the other direction may not be visible from here. So I have to shift my instrument. The reading, whatever you are taking on your staff, by placing the staff at some point, which is considered as a point with respect to this instrument station, that is considered to be the last point which you are going to be sighting with this instrument station. So that reading taken on the staff by placing the instrument on such kind of point is what we call it as your foresight. And what is meant by intermediate sight? In between the first sight, that in between the first reading what you have taken on some point on the ground, and the last reading what you have taken at some other point on the ground, at different other points you might have placed your leveling staff to take the readings of all those points, elevations of all those points. So all those readings are nothing but we call them as your intermediate sights. So intermediate sight is nothing but it is the staff reading taken on a point whose elevation is to be determined. All the staff readings between the back sight and the foresight are nothing but we call them as your intermediate sight. The first sight what we start after setting up the instrument is what is called as your back sight. The last sight, whatever last reading whatever you are going to be taking with the position of that particular instrument station before it is shifted to some new position, so that reading is what is called as foresight. And all the other readings which are taken in between at different points are called as your intermediate sight values. Next is change point. Now what does this word change point means? So change point is nothing but it is a point on which both foresight and backside are taken. So what does it mean? Let's say, for example, this is my ground and here is my instrument station. I have my instrument set up here, and somewhere at this point I have placed my leveling staff. The reading whatever I have taken on this leveling staff, I have noted it down. And if I'm going to shift this leveling staff to some other point here, when I'm placing my leveling staff, I'm not able to get the vision of that particular leveling staff properly. It means that my focus of that leveling staff I'm not getting properly, or there is an obstruction because of which I'm not able to continue with the same position where I have set my instrument. Okay, so in such case what I'm going to be doing is, okay, let me just give some notation. This is point A, I'm calling it as, and I want to even take the elevation of your point B, elevation at the point B position. But when I'm placing the point B is here. Okay, when I'm placing my leveling staff at point B, my focus through the telescope of your leveling instrument is not proper, or there is an obstruction in between, there is a building in between, something, there is a tree. I'm not having a proper focus of the next subsequent path along which I want to determine the elevation. So in such case, what I'll try to do is, let's say from this point 1, this is a point 1 where I had my instrument station earlier. Now I am going to be shifting my instrument station to some other point. Let's say maybe somewhere here, point 2. To this position, I am going to be shifting my instrument. And when I am going to be shifting my instrument, now understand, before shifting the instrument, the reading taken by placing the leveling staff at point A is what I am going to be calling it as your foresight. And immediately after shifting your instrument, then where I am required to be placing my leveling staff once again to take the reading means, again at point A only, you should be placing your leveling staff. But however, with respect to the position of the instrument at station 2, when you are taking once again the reading on the leveling staff which is placed at point A, so that reading is what we call it as your back sight. I repeat, the first reading what you are taking after setting up the instrument is what we call it as a backside, and the last reading what you have taken before shifting the instrument is nothing but we call it as your foresight. Okay, now what is this word change point means? Okay, so it is the point on which both foresight and backside are taken. So what is that point? It's the point A, what I have in this example, at which when the leveling staff is placed, I had what is called as a foresight before shifting the instrument from station 1 position, and immediately after shifting the instrument from station 1 position to station 2, the first reading what I have taken by placing the instrument station 2, placing the instrument at station 2, the first reading what I have taken is once again at point A. So that particular point with respect to which you had what is called as a foresight data measured from one position of the instrument station and backside data measured with respect to another position of the instrument station. So such kind of point is what is called as change point. Or with respect to that particular point position, you had a shift in the position of your instrument station. So that point is what is called as your change point. Okay, so let's say this is some typical plan of the center line of water supply canal. So you have some water canal. The center line of the water canal is marked between some point A here and B here. Okay, I want to understand the elevations of different points lying on that line going from A to B. So for which we have marked some points on that center line of the canal, between which you have represented your certain points for which elevations are to be determined. I want to know how the elevations of all those points what I have marked along the center line of the canal are existing between point A and point B. Now, if I want to know how the elevations of all those various points are existing, first what I should be doing, I'm looking at that whatever drawing I have given in the plan view, what is represented. Okay, so for determining the elevations of various points of all those which are marked along that line AB, what I should be doing is I should be setting up my instrument at some location. Now, how should I set my instrument? Should I establish my instrument only along that center line of your canal going from point A to B? It need not be. You can set up your instrument anywhere. It need not be exactly in the direction in which you are required to take your measurements of your leveling staff. You need not set your instrument in that direction only. That is one important point. You can set your instrument wherever you want. But however, when you are setting up the instrument at that particular location, you should be able to see the readings of leveling staff when the leveling staff is placed on various points for which you wanted to know the elevation. Okay, so what I am going to be doing is, let's say for example, this is my instrument station 1. This is the position of the instrument station 1 where your instrument is initially set. And by placing the instrument at station 1 position, first we go on to bisect for taking some reading. Okay, so first reading, whenever you are going to be, when your work is getting started for the first time on that particular location, in that particular location. Okay, I repeat, whenever your work is getting started in that particular location for the first time or on that particular day, then the reading whatever you are going to be taking for the first time, the reading whatever you are going to be taking for the first time on the day is on what is called as a benchmark point. I repeat, the first reading whatever you are going to be taking, which we are calling it as backside, because the first reading what we take is called as backside. Okay, that backside reading where I am going to be taking by placing your leveling staff means I am going to be placing my leveling staff on a point which is called as your benchmark point. What does this word benchmark mean? Benchmark is nothing but it's a point whose elevation from the reference is known. It's some reference point. It's a standard point for which the elevation of that point, where is that particular point is existing from the reference datum or from your main sea level. So the elevation of that particular point is known to you. Such point or such location is what we call it as your benchmark point. Okay, so it's a point of known elevation from the reference datum. So on that particular point, on that particular benchmark point, I am going to be placing my leveling staff reading, because from the reference datum, where is the position of the benchmark? I know. And by placing the leveling staff on that benchmark point, the first reading, whatever you are going to be taking on this leveling staff, by focusing through the instrument placed at the instrument station 1, so that first reading is what we call it as your backside. And then next, I'll go on to take the elevations of various other points from your instrument station, from the instrument placed at station 1. So I am going to be measuring the elevations of various other points, like say elevation of the starting point, and then next subsequent points, let's say point 1 or maybe small a point, small b point, small c point, small d, small e, small f, small g, small h, small I, small j, and your end point. Now, in the process of determining the elevations of all those points, what I have marked right from the starting till the end of your network along which I want to determine the elevations. So I can start placing the leveling staff at your starting point. And from the instrument station, I'll be focusing at your leveling staff placed at your starting point, and I'll take the reading. And that reading is not my backside reading, because backside reading is the first reading which I have already taken from your leveling staff instrument when it is placed at your benchmark point. Understand that. So first reading, whenever you are going to be taking after setting up that instrument, is your backside reading. And I have placed your leveling staff at capital A position. That's the starting point of your path along which you want to mark the elevations. Center line of your canal lining, canal. Okay. So at capital A point position, I placed my leveling staff. I took the reading. Next, subsequently at small a position, small b position, small c, small d, small e, small f, small g, and so on. I'm interested in placing my leveling staff. But what happened is, till point E, when I have placed my leveling staff, through this instrument, I am able to focus at my leveling staff. My line of sight was proper. There is no obstruction. And I am able to clearly see the readings on my leveling staff. Even when the instrument is, when the leveling staff is placed at point F position also, I am able to take the reading. But when I wanted to place my leveling staff at point G position, with instrument in this direction, I could not have a proper focus done onto that point G. Why? Because of the obstruction what I had here. Maybe a building I had, or maybe a small hill I had, or maybe because of any other obstruction. It could be some trees which are existing, or whatever it could be. But because of which I am not able to have the proper sighting done to that leveling staff, which is placed at point G, where I am interested in determining the elevation. So in such case, what should I do? As I am not able to look at the elevation of the point, I am not able to focus on my leveling staff which is placed at point G, for which I want to determine the elevation. Then from instrument station 1, you cannot continue your you cannot continuously go on to measure your readings because of the obstructions whatever you have. Then what I should do, I should be shifting my instrument from that instrument station 1 position. Then to where I have to shift to any other point, no problem. But shift to some point in a way that wherever you are going to be setting up your instrument, from there you should be able to view by placing the leveling staff at different points, and you should be able to collect your readings on your leveling staff without much disturbance, or without changing your instrument n number of times. Okay, try to set up your instrument for completing that particular survey in a way that least number of times you are required to shift your instrument. So if you are required to shift your instrument least number of times, the time required to be spent on setting up the instrument and shifting the instrument, adjusting the instrument, and so on, so that time can be minimized and you can complete your survey at a very faster rate. Okay, now what I have done, from station 1 position, I have shifted my instrument to what is called as your station 2 position. So where is my station 2 position? This is my station 2 position. At this position, I'm to that position, I am shifting my instrument. Okay. Now, before shifting the instrument, I repeat, before shifting the instrument, what was that last point on which I have taken my reading. Okay, so that is nothing but by placing the leveling staff on your point F. Okay, that is this point. By placing the leveling staff on your point F, from the instrument at station 1, you have taken your last reading. Now, once again, after setting up your instrument at station 2, start placing your leveling staff once again at your point F only and take your first reading on that leveling staff by placing the instrument at station 2. The last reading what you have taken with respect to station 1 position becomes what is called as your foresight, and the first reading what you have taken with respect to the instrument at station 2, once again focusing on the same point F, becomes your backside. Whenever you take the foresight as well as the backside with respect to the same point, what do we call that particular point as? Change point. Okay, so this point F is what I can call it as your change point. So because with respect to that particular point, I had what is called as a foresight data, I had what is called as a backside data. Okay, so such point is what we call it as your foresight. And once again, from instrument at station 2 position, I'm able to look at your leveling staff when it is placed at point G, point H, point I, point J, and the end point. So I'm able to comfortably take all my readings. As I told you, the first reading, whatever you are taking on your leveling staff after setting up the instrument, is what is called as a backside reading. The last reading, whatever you have taken on the leveling staff before shifting the instrument, is called as your foresight reading, or at the end of the work. That is what I mean to me. It could be at the end of the work, or it could be at the position where you are required to forcefully shift your instrument from one position to another position. So that data is what is called as your foresight. Okay, and all other data, whatever you had, is what is to be called as your intermediate sites. But in this schematic diagram, all of them are represented as FS, FS, FS. Look at here. I'm just trying to correct, because the reading taken with respect to the capital A position is intermediate site, with small a position is intermediate site, small b position also intermediate site, small c position is also intermediate site, small d position is also intermediate site, small e position is also intermediate site. But however, at small f, you are taking your last reading from the station 1 position, which is called as your foresight. And after shifting the instrument, once again you are focusing on the leveling staff which is placed at point F only. But with respect to the station 2 position, that is the first reading. So obvious that that is to be called as your backside. And what was your next subsequent reading taken with respect to station 2 position? So it is with respect to leveling staff placed at point G. So it's nothing but it is the intermediate site. At H, when you place your leveling staff, it is intermediate site. At I, it is intermediate site. At J, also it is called as intermediate site. And the other point, capital B point, which we are calling it as the end point of your complete survey, what you are carrying out. Okay, so when the leveling staff is placed at this capital B position, then that was the last reading what you want to measure with respect to instrument station at 2. So that last reading becomes your foresight. Okay, so I hope I made some sense in explaining you what is meant by a backside, what is meant by a foresight, what is meant by an intermediate site, what is meant by a benchmark point, and what is meant by a change point, and what is meant by the position of instrument, and so on. Moving ahead, let us understand what are the different instruments that we are going to be using for carrying out your leveling. So in a broader way, we'll be simply talking about 2 different types of instruments that we will be using for carrying out your leveling. One is called as level. Level is nothing but it's an instrument. Okay, so other one is leveling staff. It's a member vertically which is placed to read the readings, to understand at what so and so height that particular point is existing. So on that staff, what do you have means we'll have some readings to be read by viewing through your level instrument. So when it comes to your level, that's we are going to have different types of leveling instruments, levels that are available by which I can try to carry out my leveling. Okay, so first let us understand what do we mean by the word level, and then we'll go on to understand what are the different types of levels available, what is the use and what is the significance of each of those leveling instruments, and so on. So what is meant by level? Level is nothing but the instrument used to furnish horizontal line of sight for observing staff reading and determining the RLs. Okay, so level is nothing but it's an instrument through which you can have what is called as a horizontal line of sight. Okay, through which you can have what is called as a horizontal line of sight. And whenever you have this proper horizontal line of sight, this line of sight can bisect somewhere on this leveling staff which has got some reading. So with the help of this horizontal line of sight, you are going to be sighting the leveling staff which is placed on some particular point where you want to determine the elevation. So once your horizontal line of sight bisects some reading on your leveling staff, that reading is what we are going to be measuring, or that reading is what we are going to be noting down with the help of that particular instrument for ultimately determining the elevations of those various points where you are placing your leveling staff for measuring the readings. We come across in a broader way, we come across with different types of levels. Okay, so one of it is your dumpy level, another one is tilting level, another one is Y level, and the other one is automatic level. Okay, so most commonly you will be seeing people using what is called as dumpy level for determining the elevations of various points. But however, you can also think of using different other instruments. And now nowadays manually, if you are required to carry out your leveling, so people are preferring to go for what is called as your automatic level, or we also call it as auto level. Now, what does this dumpy level mean? So dumpy level is nothing but it's a simple leveling instrument. Okay, so dumpy level is a simple, compact, and stable instrument which is very handy, which can be carried anywhere without much difficulty. The telescope, in this case of dumpy level, you will be having a telescope through which you are going to have your vision to focus the leveling staff which is placed at any point. Okay, so the telescope is rigidly fixed to its supports. Whenever you are going to be looking at the telescope arrangement in this dumpy level instrument, so this telescope instrument in the dumpy level instrument is rigidly fixed to its supports on which the telescope is placed. In the sense, telescope cannot rotate by any means in this direction. About the horizontal axis, you will not see any kind of rotation happening in your telescope. I hope I made sense. Okay, so the telescope is rigidly fixed to its supports in the case of your dumpy level, and hence it cannot be rotated about horizontal axis. Okay, so this is what I am calling it as your telescope. This is what I am calling it as the telescope. The horizontal member, what you could see, is what I am calling it as your telescope. This portion is what I am calling it as your eyepiece. This is the viewpoint. Okay, so from here through your eye, you will be focusing at your leveling staff, and the other end of the telescope, whatever you have here, is what is called as your object glass. Through this object glass, we will be bisecting the leveling staff which is placed at some point on the ground. So while bisecting, so the line joining the center of the cross-slit hairs which are existing at your eyepiece, so line joining the center of the cross-slit hair and passing through the center of your objective glass and continuing like this, that line is what we call it as your line of collimation, or otherwise we also call it as line of sight. And you can see here your telescope is firmly fixed to this base of the dumpy level, which is rigidly fixed to the position of your base of your dumpy level. So that telescope which is rigidly fixed to the base, that instrument or that level is what is called as your dumpy level. And this dumpy level will be placing on top of what is called as a tripod. Okay, and by placing it properly on your tripod, we are going to be fixing your dumpy level on. It need not be dumpy level. It can be any other level instrument. It could be a dumpy level or your tilt level or Y level or automatic level. So we get that level instrument, place it on the tripod, firmly fix that level onto your tripod, and we carry out some temporary adjustments and required permanent adjustments for that particular instrument, and then we go on to take your measurements. Okay, your readings on leveling staff by placing the leveling staff at different points for which you require your elevations to be determined. This is how typically your dumpy level looks like. Okay, So to your eyepiece, you have an adjustment screw existing, so that now you can properly focus your vision, to adjust your proper focusing of your vision. And at the objective other end of your telescope also, you have an adjusting knob. You can adjust the knob to see that a proper vision, you are able to get it onto your leveling staff, because if you are required to take a reading on the leveling staff, you should have a proper vision through that particular objective glass, so that then only you are going to have a proper understanding of what reading that you are going to be having on the leveling staff. And if you look at here, on top of your telescopic position, okay, this is my telescope, what I am trying to talk about. So on top of the telescope, you are fitted with some glass tube, or we call it as your bubble tube. The purpose of this glass tube or bubble tube is to ensure that your leveling instrument, what you are placing over the tripod, is properly in a leveled position. The leveling instrument, whatever you have placed, is in a proper leveled position. Why do I require a proper leveled position? Because my so-called line of collimation, in order to be properly horizontal, I should ensure that now your position of the instrument is properly leveled. So how do we level the instrument, or how do we understand the instrument is properly leveled? Means whenever you see the bubble which is there in that particular bubble tube comes to the center of the bubble tube, I repeat, whenever the bubble comes to the center of the bubble tube, we understand that your instrument is properly instrument is having a proper leveling. Okay, so and just by placing your telescope in one direction, it's not that my bubble tube is, yes, it is there in the center. It's not the way of understanding the instrument having a proper leveling. So irrespective of the position, how you orient your telescope, anywhere how you hold it, you should be saying that your bubble tube should be there compulsorily in the center. If it is in the center, irrespective of the position of your leveling staff, how you place about this vertical axis, so then only you will be saying your instrument is properly leveled. So how do we level that instrument? Means with the help of what is called as foot screws. You can see here, this is one foot screw, this is another foot screw, and on the other side back of it, you will have another foot screw here. So with the help of these 3 foot screws, you are going to be adjusting the leveling of that particular instrument. So how do we do the adjustment of that leveling and so on? We'll just try to talk about after a couple of slides. Another type of leveling instrument, what we have been talking about, is nothing but tilting level. So which is otherwise also called as IOP level. What does this IOP level means? Indian Office Pattern. Okay. So this tilting level is otherwise also called as your Indian Office Pattern. In this level, the telescope tilts about its horizontal axis. So hence it is called as your tilting level. Your telescope is not firmly fixed to the base of that level instrument. Rather, in this case, your telescope position can be rotated. Your position of the telescope can be rotated about the horizontal axis. Okay. So such level instrument is called as your tilting level. This is how typically your tilting level is going to be looking like, where the position of this telescope, if you look at in the dumpy level, it's, you don't see this much gap for free rotation in the telescope position. So where you had a firm rigid fixity of your telescope with a base. Next is Y level. The word Y level, what does this instrument mean? What does this Y level means? The essential difference between Y level and the other leveling instruments is that in Y level, the telescope what we are going to be looking at is carried by 2 vertical Y supports. You are going to have 2 Y-shaped supports, one here, the other here. Okay. So on these 2 Y-shaped supports, you have the position of your telescope existing. So your telescope is placed on what is called as 2 Y-shaped supports. So such kind of instrument is what is called as your Y level. Okay. The telescope here also in this case can be rotated about your horizontal axis. It can be moved or it can be raised. The position of the telescope can be raised, it can be moved, it can be rotated. Okay. So that kind of instrument is what we call it as Y level. Okay. So these are your two Y supports. This is one Y support, this is the other Y support on which your telescope is placed. And you can see that the position of the telescope can be rotated. It can be moved in the forward direction or backward direction, or it can be raised in the upward or downward direction. Okay, so that kind of level is what is called as Y level. Next is automatic level. Now, what does this word automatic level means? It is otherwise also called as self-aligning level. So what does this word self-aligning level means? In the other instruments, if you are required to ensure that the leveling of the instrument is proper, I should use your foot screws or leveling screws to properly carry out the leveling of the instrument. But whereas in the case of this automatic level, auto level, you need not do any leveling for your instrument. Okay, so automatically your telescope aligns the position which indicates that the instrument is properly leveled. Okay, so it's a kind of an self-aligning level. Telescope aligns itself to have a proper horizontal line of sight. Okay, so this automatic level is otherwise also called as your self-aligning level. Okay, so it is a recent development. The fundamental difference between auto level and other levels is that the leveling is not manually done, but it is leveled automatically. So the leveling of that particular instrument you are not trying to do with the help of your foot screws. Automatically the leveling is going to be done because of some compensating device which you are going to be having in that telescope. Now, what does that compensating device means? So that device, because of the weight, you are going to have some weight hang there, which is connected by means of some threads. So due to the orientation of the weight, what is hanging there, so your position of the telescope gets properly leveled because of the effect of gravity, and you say the leveling of the instrument is proper in the case of your automatic level. The functioning wise, it is as similar to that of the other instruments. Everything what we are going to be ultimately using it for is to take the elevations of various points. Every instrument serves the same purpose, but however, the functionality of those instruments varies from one to the other. That's it. Okay, this is how typically your leveling staff instrument looks like. Even here also you'll be having your foot screws, which can also be used for carrying out your leveling. But however, the auto level of the instrument can be achieved. The way how other instruments look like, other instruments functioning, knobs and all other things, the other levels has got. In similar way, the automatic level has also got all those adjusting knobs, or focusing knobs, line of sight, and so on. Some technical terms we'll try to understand as we progress with the usage of those instruments. Generally, your line of sight is going to be something like this. If you look at here, this is your horizontal line, which we are calling it as your line of collimation. Now, when you are trying to have your proper vision, this is the position of your eyepiece, this is the position of your object lens or object glass, we call it. So when you start looking through this eyepiece, first your eyesight will get refracted through this particular prism positioned here, and it gets reflected onto this pendulum prism, whatever is there. And from here, it gets once again refracted back onto the other prism which is existing, and your ray is going to be continuous like this. And that's how we are able to focus at your object. So you will be adjusting your eyepiece to have a proper vision when you want to view, and you are going to be adjusting your object lens, whichever is there at the other end of your telescope, to bisect or to properly see the vision of that particular leveling staff, which is placed at the position where you want to measure your elevations. And if you look at here, this is something what we were trying to talk it as your additional mechanism what we have got in the case of your automatic level. And this additional mechanism is what we are calling it as your compensator mechanism. What is this compensator mechanism doing? In case if your line of sight is not properly horizontal, so because of the compensator pendulum prism, whatever you have, so you are going to have a realignment of the vision of your level instrument with a proper leveling automatically achieved. So in case if your line of sight is not perfectly horizontal, if your orientation of the instrument is not proper, so what is your tilt compensating device doing means, So it is compensating the effect of that improper position of your level. So telescope orientation may not be properly indicating you the level, but your line of sight is going to be properly horizontal. That you are going to be achieving with the help of what is called as your tilt compensating device.